Long way, get this shit a long way, hit the long way, long way, hit the long way, 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 shit, long way, 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 shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way. Gotta get this shit a long way. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way. Tryna get money every single way. Tryna get money every single day. Get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be a new slave. No, we gotta finish rich. No, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand. She don't understand. Niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand. Sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit. Tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get this shit the long way, yeah. Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my phone strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a phone way. When I get Atari, I ain't playing games, so I'm done talk. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, said fuck it, bitch, we gon' get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I want to get some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. And I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves. We be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, for me, yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit long way, we gon' get this shit the long way. We gon' get this shit the long way, yeah, we get this shit the long way, yeah. Cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah. We gon' get the long way, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you guys today? I hope you guys are feeling good, just like I am. I feel every day is good, and people know that they've gotten out of debt. They know once you have no debt, there is no stress. What's up, Robert? There is no stress. Life is so much better, man. You just don't really understand. But anyway, welcome to the channel. If you're new, my name is LJ Young, and I am the founder of SMD. I am not SMD itself. SMD is a family of people that think like me. And what is think like me? I understand, my gift is that I understand that capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative. This is a mathematical fact. Okay, nothing else needs to be said. That means it's true. If it's mathematically true, that means it is true. And if you don't believe it, you have a psychological problem. That's like if I said 1 + 1 = 3 to your face, you would look at me and say, you have a psychological problem because it's not. What's up, Nisha 42, what's going on? You would say I have a psychological problem. Well, that's the same thing if you disagree with me, because I agree with math and you don't. That means you have a psychological problem. But anyway, with this, I understand there are people that live on the negative side of the economy. Those people are called debt slaves, right? Debt slaves are people that believe they can own with no money of their own. What do I mean? Own a house with a mortgage. Own a car with a car loan. Okay? Put money into retirement while having student loan debt. Those are people that think they can do stuff with no money. Those are called debt slaves. Now, not only do they not know that they're debt slaves, they don't know that they don't know that the economy is psychological and they live on the negative side of it. They don't know that they're there. Okay. Even though the calculator shows them, hey, open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, the calculator is clearly showing you a large negative number. That large negative number says you are owned. You don't own anything. That means you are owned. But they don't see that because it's psychological. All right, that was me. I did the whole thing, got out of debt, got to zero, discovered that capitalism is positive, capitalism is psychological. And now what I do is help people come and participate on capitalism positively. That's what I do. I help you out of the negative side and come to the positive side. That's the business that I do. But anyway, with knowing everything is positive and negative in capitalism, so are words like homeowner. The word homeowner is positive and negative. It counts on who's using the word. For example, the positivity or negativity that is determined by the word homeowner, is determined by the person using the word homeowner. Let me give an example. A person calling themselves a homeowner with a mortgage. If you open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, you'll see a large negative number. You are talking about, you are a negative homeowner. Positive homeowners do not have mortgages, which makes them a positive homeowner. So both of you guys are using the word homeowner, the person with a mortgage and the person without a mortgage. But you guys don't know that people with mortgages are they don't know they are talking about being a negative homeowner. Okay. So that same thing goes with the word equity. You cannot own equity in a mortgaged house. So people that believe they own equity in a mortgaged house, they're talking about negative equity, not positive equity. See? So, but what it takes to understand this knowledge, you must first own yourself, which debt slaves do not. And they don't even know they don't own themselves, right? But in order to know capitalism is psychological, the requirement is that you must own yourself first. You must, by getting to zero. All right. So your credit reports are really owner ledgers. They just keep track of all the businesses that own you. Credit scores are reward points for staying in debt with your owners. That's the purpose of all that stuff. But you don't know that when you live on the negative side of the economy. So when you get to zero, my credit report proves that I own myself because I have no owners listed on my credit report. So I can just show somebody, which gives you the example of why I'm the only person on the internet that has ever shown their entire credit report to the whole world and made a video about it. That's why I'm the only one, because it shows that I own myself. All right. That's why I do that. All right. That's proof. That kind of proof cannot be, that's hard to be faked. All right. I don't see anybody doing counterfeit credit reports. You know why? They'll bury you under the prison. You try to do that kind of stuff. All right. Anyway, with this knowledge, I also know when you cross over to the positive side, onto the relationship side of it all, after you own yourself, right? Words are positive and negative over there too. Did you know that? Did you know the word love is positive and negative? Did you know that? I didn't know that when I was a debt slave. I had no idea. Because once you own yourself, guess what? Not only does the financial world get quiet, you know what else gets quiet? The dating world. It gets totally quiet. You know why? Because you don't date people in debt. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, that's everybody. Yeah. So what are you saying by saying everybody? You don't date people in debt. Did you know not dating people in debt will solve like 99% of your dating problems? Did you know that? All you got to do is look at a person's personal credit report. You'll know if you want to date them or not by look at their personal credit report. Did you know that? But you don't date people making car payments. You don't date do you know your world would be totally different as far as dating goes? You will understand the meaning that love is also positive and negative. Now you're probably saying, well, I've never heard of that. I know, that's why I'm the only one on the internet talking about it. There is nobody else that knows that love is positive and negative. So say, like, let me give an example. All right. So you guys can get an idea of what I mean. Now, you know how when you're in a relationship, right? And everybody says, oh, love is blind. It makes you accept things that you don't want, you wouldn't accept, and this and that. And Everybody knows that love, they always say love, but they don't tell you what is blinding you. Nobody ever stops and says, what is the blinding part? Emotions are the blinding part. Have you ever noticed if you're watching a reality show and you see a man treating a woman bad, you immediately say, oh man, I wouldn't take that. I would leave his ass right away. You know why you're saying that? Because there's no emotion in there blinding you. You can see it for what it is because you have no emotions involved. That's why you're able to judge it really quick when you watch it. But when you're in it, it's different because you're blinded by your emotion. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what do I do, Linnell? How do I? That means you have to see it for yourself. You have to see that you're blinded by your emotions. You know how to do that? You take out a piece of paper, right? You write down the word love on a piece of paper, okay? And split it down the middle, right? And right under the word love, write a line down the middle, all the way down the piece of paper. On the left side, you write negative. On the right side, you write positive. Okay. And we're going to talk about serious things inside of a relationship. Not, oh, he doesn't wash my clothes. He didn't buy me what I wanted on my birthday. No, I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about serious stuff. So this is what you do. If you're in a relationship, you write this down on a piece of paper because this is for your eyes, because you don't know love is positive and negative, but I'm about to show you how you can figure out what type of love you are in your relationship. So you write this down on a piece of paper. So you say, my partner had an affair on me. You put that on the negative side. My partner, I found my partner texting a person of the opposite sex inappropriately, talking about inappropriate things. You put that on the negative side. Because remember, at the same time, this person is telling you they love you. Remember, you're with them. They're doing these things, but they're telling you they love you, okay? I told, I have a partner that uses secrets that I told them against me when they're angry. You put that on the negative side, okay? And then on the same note, you think of the positive things, okay? And then you put them on the positive side. And now look at the piece of paper. Whichever list is longer, that's the type of love you're in. So if you have more negative things, you're in what's called negative love. That's negative love. You know why? Because people in positive love don't fool around on their partner. I know it's hard for women to believe this, right? But when you own yourself like I do, sex doesn't control me anymore. I control it, not the opposite way around. I control it. Like, think about it this way. There are men that are married with children, house, wonderful job, wonderful wife, and will have an affair. Now, an affair starts out as a thought in your mind. It starts out as a thought. It just doesn't happen. The thought comes into the man's a mind that says, I want to have sex with that woman. That's a thought. Okay. At that point, you have a choice. Now, many men are not aware of this, but you have a choice to follow that thought or not. Now, as a man who I am today, if that thought popped in my head, I would see it and I would say, I'm just not following it, because I would lose everything I have for some sex. That's called a problem. Court dates, family breakups, arguing, losing unnecessary money, thousands of dollars, all for what? I wouldn't do that. Now, I know it's hard for women to believe that there are men out there that would not fuck around on them, but that's called negative energy. That's called negative love. What's up, Biz? What's up, Kay? What's going on, sir? So you write these things down on a piece of paper so you could see it with your eyes, so your emotions will not be involved because it'll be conflicted. You'll say, oh man, but I love that person. But you'll be looking at this paper and see this long list of things on the side of negative love. Now you're looking at it. Now what do? You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to get anybody's opinion and blah. You don't have to do that, because the majority of you guys that call your friends and your whoever, you don't know. You have no idea where they are at in their lives. They're only going to give you their perspective. What if they don't know 9 times out of 10, they don't know love is positive and negative. What if they give you some advice like, oh, girl, it just happens. Men be men. Well, that's her perspective, but that's not true. Fooling around on your partner has nothing to do with being a man or a woman. You don't want to be near or be with a person that believes it has something to do with your gender. Those are choices. That's called negative love. Negative. Saying when you understand that love is positive and negative, even hearing people talk about thinking has something to do with the man and the woman should do this and the man should do that. All of that none of that is true. Has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with kind of career what college you went to, where you grew up. All you got to do is pull out that piece of paper, especially if you're in a relationship right now and you just can't figure out what's happening. This is all you got to do. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the answers to people that are in relationships that are having problem with not only with their love, with their financial problems. This is all you got to do. You just can't seem to figure it out. Pull out a piece of paper. For the love side, pull out a piece of paper. Write down what I said. Write down the word love in the middle of it. Write down the line right underneath it, negative, positive on this, and start writing down the things and see which list is longer. And then on the financial side, you go into your partner and say, "Hey, I need to see your personal credit report because something's not making any sense. These bills are not getting paid. You're working all these hours and something's not adding up." Because I know many of you guys are in those type of relationships. Your partner's working all these hours, but you can't figure out where the money's going. All you got to do is ask to see their personal credit report. What are they going to do? Tell you no? Let me explain something to you. If you turn to a person that you are in love with, right? You guys are together. And you say, "Hey, I want to see your personal credit report." And they tell you no, that's a problem. That's a red flag right there. Why you want to see it? Because you love no, when they turn to you and say, "Why you want to see it?" You say, "Because you love me, because we love each other." That's what people in love do. And if they say no, guess where you put that on your list? Negative love, because that's called financial infidelity. So you put that on the negative love side. That's called negative love. Because people in positive love, let me tell you, ladies, let me tell you something. If my woman came up to me and said, "Hey, Linnell, let me see your personal credit report," I just log in and show her. Okay, whatever. It's nothing in there, but I don't care. There's nothing there to see. When you own yourself, there's absolutely nothing to see. Nothing to hide and nothing. Nothing's in there. I have no owners. My credit report proves that I own myself. You guys really don't understand how quiet. And if you're out there dating and you just can't get it and you don't understand, don't date people in debt. If they're making car payments, don't date them. If they're financing cell phones, don't date them. That's a waste of your time. Total waste. You got student loans? Yeah. You thinking about paying them off? No. Never mind then. It'll be quiet. I know you're thinking, "Oh my God, I will never have sex because everybody's in debt." I know you think like that. I know you think like that, right? You do. And if you think like that, you're probably in debt. You're probably in debt if you think like that. "I won't be able to date anybody. I'll be alone forever." I want you to stop and say, if you're thinking like that, I want you to ask yourself, am I making car payments? If the answer is yes, that's why you're thinking like that. Am I making student loan am I scared this October when student loan payments resume? Is my life going to change forever? That's why you're thinking like that. Because you have student loan payments that you haven't paid in 3 years. That's why you're thinking like that. Now, you're probably thinking, "Well, what does that have to do with love?" I know you think it doesn't, but it does. How does it? You won't fall in love with a debt slave. You won't do that. You won't fall in love with people in debt. What's up, Tyler? Love being positive and negative. also applies in every aspect of your life. You can apply that to family too. The family that claim they love you. Yes, you can apply it to. You write down a piece of paper, the word love with a family, thinking about a family member, and negative on one side, positive, and write down all the negative things you know and the positive. Now you know what type of love your family member has for you. They have negative love. Borrow money, don't pay it back, get mad at you if you ask for the money. They borrow some money, they don't pay it back on time. You call them and ask them, hey, where's that money on me? Then they get pissed off at you. Oh, I'm pissed, you bother me. Now they have an excuse not to pay you. That's called negative love. Then you don't do that. Do you know, understanding this will save you from court, lawyers, divorces, divorce rate. You know, when they say the average divorce rate is XXY, whatever, just X. The average divorce rate in America is this. When you hear the word average, did you know you don't have to be, when you hear the word average, you don't have to be part of the average. There's one more option. Do not be part of the average. You don't have to be part of the average car note. You don't have to be part of the average mortgage payment. The average is made up of millions upon millions of people making the same financial decisions as one. You don't date people like that. You don't date people who are part of the average. You don't date people who think car payments are normal. You don't date people who believe they're saving for retirement while having student loan debt older than the retirement plan itself. You don't date people thinking they're getting a match in their 401k. You don't date people like that. They don't know what they're saying. That's why having this knowledge, understanding that love is positive and negative, once you have the full understanding of this, your whole entire dating life is going to change forever. Do you understand that? The probability of you getting emotionally hurt by a debt slave is 0 to none. Do you understand me? The probability of you falling in love. No, let's say it a different. Let me say it a different way. The probability of you falling in love with a debt slave is 0 to none. It doesn't matter what he or she looks like. It won't matter how good the sex is. If they're in debt, who cares? It doesn't matter. They're a debt slave. It doesn't matter. You don't date. You will never date people that go to college for 4 years and keep their student loan for 20. Once you understand love is positive and negative, it helps you become unblind. Write down on a piece of paper. You guys think I'm joking, but do it. I'm telling you something that millions of people don't know. They don't know. They don't know love is positive and negative. They have no clue. But I'm telling you, how do I know this? Because I own myself. Hey, listen, I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys about this if I didn't own myself first. That's the only reason why I know this. Everything just makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, don't date debt slaves. That's it. You won't be in court you won't be a weekend mother and father arguing over stupid nonsense. I mean, listen, when I was a debt slave, I was part of that. Having kids at a young age, I was in court. When you're in there and you hear some of the stuff that you argue over that you have to pay for by the hour. If people equated, like, if you dare, okay, say like you're in it right now. Say like this is you, okay? If you dare, you take the money that you've been spending on fighting, if it's frivolous, okay? I'm not talking about the serious shit. I'm talking about the majority of it's frivolous. You take the amount of money that you spent to fight a frivolous whatever child, blah, 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 right? And then you calculate how many hours you had to make, how many hours you had to work to earn that money. And don't forget, taxes are taken out of that money too. Don't forget that part. You got to add that too. And then look how much time in your life that you had to use to earn that money to spend on, because we didn't meet at 5 o'clock at the store and it was the store down the block instead. It's the dumbest shit. When you see how much time that you're losing out of your life that you can't get back no matter how much money you make, your view is going to change. You'll see the court system for what it is. It's for people that are not paying attention. That's what it's for. People that they're not paying attention. That's what it's for. I put myself there. I ain't here talking about, oh, back then, oh yeah, I was blaming the baby mama, doing all that stupid nonsense, right? But once I figured it out was me, it was me the whole time. I put myself there. She didn't put me there. I put myself there. So now I'm here to save you guys a lot of time in this confusing dating world. You don't know who to trust, right? You're like, oh, this person, should I read this book? I can't figure out why I'm accepting this stuff from this partner, the person that says they love, because you don't know what that is. That's called negative love. If your partner fucks around on you, calls you bad names, don't treat you good, and still says they love you, that means that's called negative love. Do you understand? You're looking for positive love. I guarantee you the majority of women out there, they cannot believe there's actually a man out there that has control of his private parts. They don't believe, I bet you the majority of women don't believe that they can put 100% of trust in a man knowing that he would never fool around on you. You know how many women dream of that? Not even have to think twice about it. What a wonderful gift to give a woman. Wouldn't that be wonderful as a man, especially as a man? That's what happens in positive love. There are men in positive love that understand that. You don't have to tell me, hey, by the way, if we're together and we say we're together, you can't fuck other people. I wouldn't need my woman to tell me that. That's obvious to me. Hey, you can't be flirting with, chicks in the text, and just because it's not actually physical, I'm not explaining any of that. You don't need to. I'll be like, you don't need to explain any of that to me. I understand the rules. Because if I wanted to do that, I would just say that. I wouldn't be in a relationship. I'd be like, nah, I don't want to be in a relationship. Why not? Because I still want to have sex with multiple women. You just be honest. Were they going to be shocked, or they're just going to respect you more? They're going to respect me more because I'm just being honest. Today's dating world on social media, you don't know who to trust. How can you trust? Don't trust man. Don't trust woman. What are you talking about? What? Doesn't even make any sense. What are you talking about? Don't trust man. Then how are you supposed to do what? What are you going to do? You just, first of all, listen, to filter your search the most, right? Do not date people in debt. You guys have no idea that move alone is going to filter your dating problems so much. It's going to filter it so much. All the problems, the fooling around, the financial infidelity, not knowing this, man. Listen, take my word. I promise you. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying at least 98%, 99%. If you just simply do not date people in debt. I bet you a lot of you guys would probably be too scared to do that. Write that down on a piece of paper and write down so you can see with your own eyes the type of love you're in. Not many of you guys are probably not ready to accept that. Even hearing me say that, like even if you haven't done it, right? And you hearing me say that, you're probably making the list in your head already, and you know the negative side is long. But it's something about, trust me, okay? It's something about taking it out of the psychological in your mind, and writing it down on a piece of paper, aka physical. When you see it, and you're like, damn, that list is long. How long is it? And then you're going to be like this. How much time has gone by since I've been in negative love? That's what's going to happen. You're going to be, how long has it been like this? All the whole relationship, 5 years of it, half, 75, whatever. Then you're going to pay attention to other things. Like as soon as your mind start up, that just be the start. Then your mind's going to start opening up, because you're going to realize in order for somebody to fuck around on you, they have to spend some kind of time with another human. Like you're involving another human being. That's going to take time for interaction. So that means whatever pattern they had is going to be broken, because it has to be broken in order to fit another human being in the situation. So you just pay attention. Oh, hey, I stayed late longer in the car. Oh, I stopping at the store more often before heading home. So I had time to talk, shit like that, you know. You're like, oh, yep, LJ said you was going to do that. Yeah, that's what they do. They don't know that they do, because people that do that, you got to remember this, okay? I want you guys to have the advantage, okay? People that actually do the negative love, they for surely don't know that love is positive and negative, because they're doing negative things. They're doing things. This is how you got to look at it. They're doing things that they don't know they're not supposed to be doing. It's obvious because they're doing it. Now I'm gonna say it slow one more time so you can get it. If you're in a relationship and they fuck around on you, they obviously don't know you're not supposed to do that to the person you love in a relationship, because they're doing it. Do you understand? I know that being on the positive side of love, I already know not to do that. Does that make sense? I already know not to fuck around on my woman. She doesn't have to tell me that. But that's on the positive side of love. That's where that is. Not where not many people are, but there are people there. And don't get me wrong. Yeah, will it be very rare? Yes, it will be very rare. Good luck. Because not only do you have to find a person that understands love is positive and negative, then you got to find that, they got to be attractive, and maybe the race person you want, your age group. Good luck. But it's all right. It's all right. Take your time. At least you won't be wasting the time of your life in a stressed out relationship that you don't want to be in. Whatever that time is, you'll be using it on whatever you choose to use it on. That's the difference. But once you do, you find peace. Because I know it's definitely difficult if you're in a relationship and you just cannot figure it out, and you use this piece of paper thing I'm telling you about, and then you see it. But what you don't understand is that now it's in your mind. Now you have a decision to make. You always have a choice. Do I stay? Now that you know, if you write it down, listen, if you write it down on a piece of paper and you see it and you still stay, that's different. But realize you have a choice. Do I continue? Now I know. No, doesn't matter how much you love the person. Remember, when you're looking at this piece of paper and you love the person, it's a conflict. It's a conflict, because you look, oh, I love them, but damn, they keep doing this. I love them, but they keep touching me. They keep hitting me. They keep fooling around on me. Because you're going to think about, when you look at the piece of paper, you're going to think about the whole thing. If they have sex on you, that means they're putting your life at risk by a disease out there that can kill you. You're thinking, this person loves me? That's called negative love. If they put your life at risk because they can't control their sex drive, that's a problem. Think about it. It happens all the time. But when you're in love, you don't really look at it all the way down the line. Say like you're married with children in a house, and then your husband fucks around on you. He just put your, not only is it wrong to have a affair, he just put your life at risk because there's a disease out there that can kill you. Now, take away you, away from your children. Your children have no idea what happened to their parents, and so on and so on. A man in positive love, that's how I think. Not only, oh, just because if I go out there and have unprotected sex, that just because I don't care about myself and my own life, I'm so selfish that I'm going to go ahead and put my woman's life at risk. That I don't think like that. That doesn't happen in positive love. Sorry, I don't do any of that. No. If I'm with a woman and women approach me outside in the world, they will clearly know that I'm with a woman. I'll make it clear. It's not, and I don't have to be rude. I just turn to them and say, "No, I'm with somebody." Because you got to remember, listen, you got to remember, there's a lot of women out there that believe they can get any man that they choose, but they don't understand that there are men out there that control themselves, and it doesn't work like that. Has nothing to do with my age or what I look like or not. I want you guys to understand, it has nothing to do with that. Nope, sorry, I'm in a relationship. No. Oh no, I don't just have sex like that. No, I would tell a chick, no, I don't do it like that. No, that's not me. You're gonna pass up all this? I guess I am. And I would just tell a woman, yeah, my dick doesn't control me like that. That's what I would say. But when I'm in a relationship, I understand the definition of positive love and negative love. I understand that. And if you don't, if you trust me, if you date a person who's in debt, okay, this is how far you got to remember, okay? First of all, the person doesn't know they're a debt slave. They don't even, people in debt don't even know they're in debt. They think they own houses with mortgages, think they own cars with car loans for 84 months. They don't know it only takes one day to buy a house, it only takes one day to buy a car. They don't know that. They won't even know it if you told them. You could walk up to a debt slave and say, "Hey, you know it only takes one day to buy a house." They'll give you a dazed look, like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Why? Because they can't hear you. You can't go up to a debt slave and say, "Hey, you know it only takes one day to buy a car, not 84 months." They'll be like, "What are you talking about?" You don't believe me? Go try it. Go tell a person that has a mortgage, that believes they own a house and equity and blah blah blah, and say, "Hey, you do know it only takes one day to buy a house, right?" They're not going to understand what you're saying. You don't want to date people like that because you will be there with them all the way to your last days in debt, all the way believing you own something, all the way. You do not want to date people like that. Financing. If you're dating, listen, if you're dating a person right now that has a finance cell phone, you're in fight. That means that's a sign that they're in financial trouble. Do you understand that? You got to ask yourself. You got to wait a minute. I've been working all. You turn to the person and say, "Hey, how long you been on your job?" People love to talk about where they work and their titles and how much they make, right? And, "Oh, I've been in my job for 5 years." You think to yourself, and you didn't have the money to buy a cell phone in cash? You're dating a person that thinks financing phones is normal. You don't want to date a person like that. I promise you. You're going to be in trouble. 9 times out of 10, if the phone is financed, you know why? They probably got student loan debt, car payments, multiple credit cards, multiple transfers of balances of zero interest. The banks know how to get them, man. You don't want to date people like that. I'm gonna save you so much heartache, especially if you're young. Listen to this. I'm gonna save you so much heartache, so much arguing, wasting time, arguing, uh, uh, plan when to get a house, a wedding, where the wedding's gonna be, who's gonna pay for it. If the parent, I'm gonna save you guys so much of all of that program, and that's all a program, all of it. You don't have to be part of any of that. All because you know love is positive and negative. You just keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. And that applies for relationships, family, anything that does with the word that involves the word love with another person. It applies. Because sometimes you'll catch yourself saying, how come this person doesn't love me the way I love them? They obviously don't know love is positive and negative. Because there's some people out there that say they love you, but all they do is take, never give, but they love you. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for giving me this. I love you. Oh, okay. But as soon as you stop, now they're mad at you. Now you know that was negative love. That's called negative love. Positive love for yourself is telling people like that, no. Can I borrow some money? No. Why not? Because you don't pay me back. Because listen, this is what when you come to the positive side, you understand the power of no when you say it firm and you look them in the eyes. Because I want you to think about it. People that borrow money from you, especially, I'm talking about the people that love you that borrow money from you, so you guys can understand the difference. People that love you that borrow money from you don't pay you back. When they say they're going to pay you back, don't pay you back. Not only do they not pay you back, they'll have the nerve to call you and ask you to borrow some more money without paying you back. You know why? Because you allowed it without saying no. You have to say no to people like that because they don't know that. Here you are, you're blown away. I can't believe this motherfucker asked me for some more money and they didn't pay me back the first time. Why are you surprised? I don't get it. All you got to do is tell them no. Hey, no, because you didn't pay me back the first amount of money. Because if they're doing it, listen, if a person borrowed money from you, didn't pay you back, and then called you again to borrow some more money from you, that means they don't know what they're doing is wrong. Obviously, because they're asking for more money without asking do you get it? So it's your job to say no and tell them why. They might call you some names and this and that. You let them ramble on. That's what you do. Just let them ramble. And as soon as they're done, you say, no. I don't care what you say. The answer is no. Now, when you're in love with somebody and it comes to finances, there is this thing called financial infidelity. There is. That also falls under love too. That also, can I know about your finances? Where your money? No, that goes under negative love. You can't. We're together. We know about each other's finances. We know it. We see each other's credit reports. We see all that because we're together. That's what you do when you're in positive love. Everything is everything. Nothing is hidden. There's no secrets. There's no stuff you didn't tell me about that you need to. I mean, history is history, but you know what I'm saying. What'd you say, Robert? Here, you said I had to end a friendship with a guy I know since the second grade. Wow, he he told me he owes over $120,000 in back child support, and says the system is against him. Friendship is also positive, and yeah, that's true. That is very true. What's up, Jewel? This right here, let me tell you something, okay? Especially for all you dating coaches and anybody involved in dating, and you don't know. First of all, you don't know capitalism is psychological, and you also don't know love is positive and negative. I can help change the game for you. I can help you become one of the top dating coaches in the United States of America. Combine this SMD knowledge with what you already have, and you'll be the best in the United States of America. If you don't know what I'm telling you, if you come across the channel and you hear me saying love is positive and negative, capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative, and you never heard of it, I strongly suggest you come see me. You can have me on your show. I can show it to you mathematically, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But this is for you personally, because you've already, like, say, like you're a dating coach right now. You've already done what it takes to create a business, get your clients, blah, blah, blah. And then you come across here and you've never heard somebody that's never been a dating coach at all. How could I possibly know that? But what I'm saying is mathematically true. That's all you need to focus on, is what he's saying mathematically true. Does that make sense, that love is positive and negative if you list down the negative things? And yes, it's all true. If you're a young entrepreneur and you want to have the edge in life, the financial game, that'll be unlocked. You'll have all that figured out. And then it'll cross over to your personal life. You won't have those problems as you go through life, as you go through your young life. You won't have those problems. Why? Because you won't date people that don't own themselves. You won't date them. You won't get locked down by a woman because she's pretty and she's got a nice body. Sorry, none of that'll work if she's a debt slave. It won't matter. And you'll tell her, hey, how come we can't be more? Because you're in debt. I don't get emotionally involved. Listen, you tell them, I don't get emotionally involved with people who are in debt. So there won't be no fighting, you getting mad or anything, because you won't be emotionally involved. You won't have a need to raise your voice or get mad because she's talking to somebody else or texting other men and see it. You won't care. They're like, hey, they're debt slave. They're having fun together. What's up, Mr. Big? What's going on, sir? Positive love is positive and negative. You know how much time that would have saved me throughout my life if I would have known what I know today. Now, if God came down and said, hey, man, you want to start all over with this knowledge that you have? I would have to tell God no, because that would change my whole entire life to where I'm at today. My kids would disappear because I wouldn't have kids at such a young age. I would say no. That's why I'm sharing this right now for the people, the young adults that are starting out in the world with no kids, no responsibilities. You better keep it that way. How you do it? Own yourself. True wealth, let me tell you, young people, true wealth is not money. True wealth is time. Owning 100% of the time in your life. That's the goal. When you do that, the money comes. You attract money. You don't chase it. All you got to listen. When you go out on a date, I'm gonna give you some things to listen to when you hear a debt slave speak. Okay, they don't know that. Okay, when you hear a debt slave speak about their finances and they're always talking about it in future tense, that means they're a debt slave. That means they don't have no money today in the present. All their money is in the future. It's 10, 15, 20 years from now. When they're a particular age, they're going to have X amount of money. And when you hear them talking about future tense, that means they're a debt slave. That means they have no money today. That's what you listen for. They don't know that. Debt slave, listen, Debt slaves do not know. This is the advantage that you have in the dating world, okay? It doesn't even matter if I say it out loud on the mic right now. They can't hear me. Debt slaves don't know that they talk about their money in future tense, which does not exist. Remember, the future doesn't exist. You can only create your future in the present. That's the only place so the future doesn't exist. So what the program does is keep debt slaves in the future, so they won't know that they don't own anything in the present. That's the goal. That's how the program works, okay? That's why you don't date people like that. Hey, my house is going to be worth this in 10, 15 years and this and that. They're supposed to say stuff like that. So they won't realize today that they own nothing. So if they keep them in the future, what the house will be worth in the future, they will not realize that they own nothing today. You don't date people like that don't know. That's a choice, though. To see, it's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with the banks doing that. I want to make sure it's clear, so you know why I'm telling you not to date people like that. There's nothing wrong with it. People with mortgages are choosing that. How are they choosing that? Because they're choosing not to trust the calculator. All a person has to do with a mortgage, open up the calculator, put in their mortgage payment minus their mortgage balance, and hit equal. You see that large negative number? That says you don't own shit. That says they bought you with the house. That negative number said they bought you for 30 years. You just keep staring at it. As you're looking at the negative number on your calculator, just listen to my voice. They bought you with the house. They built that house in 30 days and bought you for 30 years. Can you imagine the profit margin? You pay for everything and own nothing. They bought you. You're the equity in the house, because it's 100% mathematically impossible to own equity in a mortgage house, which makes you the equity in the house. You don't date people like that. You don't date people that say they own equity. They have equity in their mortgage. You don't date people who talk about investing while having a mortgage. Oh, I'm investing in the stock market. You got student loan debt? You got a mortgage? Yeah. You don't listen to people like that. They don't know they can't do that. That's why not dating a debt slave is going to solve 99% of your dating problems. Because you got to remember, in this dating world, everybody's about impressing. Cars, jewelry, houses, where they went to school. All you got to do is listen. Are they making car payments? Yes. Car payments make the driver irrelevant. Mortgages make the people the equity in the house. That's what a mortgage is. The person driving up and taking pictures of them in front of it, you're looking at the live, walking, and breathing equity. Understanding this and understanding love is positive and negative, I'm going to save you so much heartache. Ooh, we young people. Can you imagine? I can only imagine a young man or a young woman so confused, man. I don't want no man using me. I don't want no woman using me. I don't know who to trust. All you got to do is start with yourself. Trust yourself first. First, you own yourself. Okay. This is what you do. You start with you. Own yourself first. That narrows down everything. Dating world becomes quiet because you're no longer going to date debt slaves. So now you have a very select few. It's not as noisy. You don't have to get into any hate groups of men or women. You don't have to really just, oh, I like sex this way. Well, you know what I'm saying? You determine, get by yourself. You determine what you like in all aspects of your life. Listen, this is what you do. You, as a man too, you got to do this. Get by yourself, own yourself. Think about everything that brings you good feelings or whatever in your life and say, this is what I want, period. Any woman you decide to get with, you tell her, this is what I like, this is what I want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then you tell her, including sexually. You got to do everything. You got to say everything, because the worst is this. You get with somebody, everything is good, and then you get in the bed and it's bad. That's the worst. That's the most worst awkward spot to be in. That's just the worst. It's the worst. But when you own yourself, if you have a conversation about the sex before you start, you're going to know before the physical act, which is going to save you guys both a lot of heartache, problem, whatever brings that. It'll save you a lot of time. Because what if you guys are bribing, you guys have a good time, and you're out having fun, and you're like, everything is just on fire, everything's connecting, and then you get in the bedroom and you're a man that maybe likes oral sex. Maybe you like that, and she says, I don't like that. That's going to be a problem for you. Right? That's a problem. But if you had a conversation before that, you could have saved yourself a lot of time and problems. You'd be like, oh, you don't? Well, I do. So we might as well just not. And then you wait to find a woman that has all the things you like, and then make it happen. But you have to come to that conclusion for yourself first. You got to come to that conclusion of what you like first. Own yourself. Once you own yourself, you'll immediately know that you are different than millions of people immediately. Millions. Then when you understand this, you'll understand that you'll see that, like I said earlier, words are positive and negative on the financial. When people call themselves homeowner, that's homeowners, positive and negative. Equity is positive and negative. The same thing applies in your personal life when it comes to the word love. Hold on for a quick second here. Okay, sorry about that. Same thing applies when it comes to the word love. That'll be your rule, period. But the chances of you getting emotionally involved, even like, because I'm not saying don't be friends with debt slaves. Be friends with them. You can. But even with the friendship, you got to be careful with that, because you got to remember, if you're a friend with a debt slave, but you're debt free, you got to remember, you're going to be living your life a little different than the person who's in debt. So say like this. Say like you're good friends with the person right now. Okay. You guys both have jobs, but both of you guys are in debt. Okay. But you guys are great along. You guys get along great today. You guys share each other's problems, girl, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But then you come across SMD channel, and then you get out of debt. You own yourself, and see how much is free to have no debt. The things you can do. You have no stress. You don't have to work overtime anymore. You're doing all the things you're doing. But your friend, you told your friend a couple times how great this feeling is happening, because when you have no debt, guess what else you don't have? You don't have stress. So you don't talk about the things that stress you anymore, because you don't have anything stressful to talk about. But your friend is not listening to you. Kind of tell your friend, but she's, oh, I don't want to really hear that. You think you're better than me. So you just stop telling them. Once you stop telling them, you just, okay, I'm not going to talk to them about them no more. So we'll still be friends and not talk about it. But they're going to see how you're living. They're going to see that you don't even want to talk about stressful problems anymore. Because you're not going to want to hear the problems that you know she can eliminate out of her life. So you're not going to want to hear it. That means less phone time that you guys are going to be talking, because that's how you guys bonded, sharing each other's stressful problems. But once you have none, you're not going to have any desire to hear to hear them anymore. Not just hear them anymore. You don't want to hear them from a person that doesn't want to do anything about it. And when you have the answer how to stop it, guess what's going to happen to that friendship? It's going to end. That's part of the process. That's just how it happens. But what that's going to do is make room for the new people that you're going to meet in your life from understanding this information and living your life differently, because it's going to be different. Your confidence is going to go through the roof. If you're a person with low self-confidence, you think, oh man, I can't attract that guy I want, I can't attract that woman I want. Once you understand this information and you realize you're not going to date any debt slaves anyway, your confidence is going to go through the roof, and people around you are going to know it. Not because you're going to be talking a certain way, like, oh, I'm better than everybody. It's just going to be how you're going to be carrying yourself. It's going to be a different kind of energy. Like if you're a guy, put it this way, guys. Say like you're a guy, maybe you're not so attractive. Maybe you're not. And so you think that you can't get a beautiful woman, right? You just, I can't get the woman I want. Well, if you're saying it, that's what you're putting in your brain. You understand this knowledge, what I'm teaching you, your confidence will go through the roof. You'll realize every woman that's beautiful or whatever is not like what you see on social media. Oh, they look too good for me. They must have millions of guys talking to them every single day and blah, blah, blah. You'll stop saying stuff like that. You'll stop saying all that because none of it matters. Because first, when you'll look at her and say, first I have to determine, I know she's beautiful, but first I have to determine if is she a beautiful debt slave? That's why when you look, like, put it this way, when you have this knowledge, right, and you look at a beautiful woman, it's not going to be the same like you did before. Like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She's just knockout gorgeous. Oh my gosh, she wouldn't give me the time of the day because she probably got I got to have a Ferrari, this and that. Probably a million things are running through your head. But when you understand this knowledge, the first thing you're going to think is, but is she a debt slave? The only way you're going to know is that you have to talk to her. Listen to her mannerisms. Don't go by her looks or clothes or what she's wearing. Don't just listen to the way she speaks. Hey, how you doing? Hey, does she give you an attitude for even talking to her? Okay, just walk away. Now, I'm gonna use myself as an example. Now, I've always been a self-confidence dude. I've never really had that problem, right? But I'm gonna give you an example because I don't want you guys thinking that just because I look the way I look and have the confidence I have that I get every woman that I approached. I don't want you ever thinking that. But it doesn't bother me if they don't like me. So when I was younger, it happens, right? There's some women that just reject you because they don't like you or whatever, but which is not a big deal, right? It's just one woman, right? That's how I always thought, right? But anyway, if I walk up to a woman and start talking to her and she rolls her eyes or kind of looks a certain way, I just walk away. She just told me by the look on her face that she don't want to talk to me, so I just walk away. Why waste time? I'm not gonna, oh, I'm gonna stand there and convince you to like me. No, I don't do any of that. I don't, hey, let me buy you a drink. Maybe that'll change if no. I'd go back over to my friends. They'd be like, hey man, what'd she say? I'd say, I don't know. She had a stank ass look on her face, so I turned around and left. That'll be you. Because you won't look, young men, you won't look at women like that anymore. First, you're going to look and see she's fine and beautiful in body, but it's going to stop there because you got to know first if she's a debt slave or not. And you young guys are probably thinking, well, nah, man, that has nothing to do with just hitting it and quit it. It has everything to do with it. Because listen, once you have this knowledge, you will know that you are no longer part of the debt matrix. You're free. You own yourself. You're free. Now, if you accidentally get a woman who's a debt slave is pregnant, say like you accidentally got her pregnant, you knew before you had sex with her, you knew she was a debt slave, and you get her pregnant. Guess what that means? You are now tied to the debt matrix for at least the next 20 years. You are tied there. Not only are you tied there, this would be worse. Not only are you tied to the debt matrix, you know you're tied to the debt matrix. Debt slaves don't know that they live in the debt matrix. They don't know it's there. But you have to live the next 20 years knowing that you are legally tied. You are legally and biologically tied to the debt matrix for the next 20 years of your life. Governed by your paychecks will be governed by the state in which you live for the next 20 years of your life. That's how you look at it now. So you would think twice. You're like, ooh, am I going to risk a thin piece of latex for the next 20 years of my life? All those thoughts will go through your mind as a young man. I promise you that. I promise you that. So you won't care how fat her ass is. You'll be like, ooh, I don't know. Is it worth it? You're probably gonna say, nah, it's not worth it. Would you say, Robert says, you're helping me so much with this knowledge, even though I'm 41, I still young. And yes, you are. You're still young in the game. Believe that. What's up, Jarquise? Ulysses says, well, now I have a question. Ladies in my department think it's crazy to ask to see their partner's credit report if you're getting serious about a relationship. It was me versus 10 debt slaves debating. Ulysses, you know what we call that. That's called pulling down your mask in public. You know better than that. You already knew what was going to happen as soon as you said that. I guarantee you already knew. Guaranteed. That's called pulling down your mask in public. All right. What's up, Wayman? Yep, it's imperative to have a philosophy ahead of time before even checking for these women and a baseline standard. Yes, you'll clear a lot of clutter that way and will reduce feeling like you're missing out. Sure, listen, man, I try to tell people this, especially young men. You guys have no idea the power to be in control of your sex drive. You guys have it's a different kind of energy. The women can pick it up. They can. The women know they can feel it. They know listen, you're different. When you approach women, you could see a sexy woman, but you're not going to look at her with a hungry look. There's a difference. You're not going to, every woman that walks by, you can see she's like, she walks by and you see she's approaching you. You can see her thighs and look, ooh, she might have ass. And as soon as you walk by, you turn around. I don't turn around. What's the point of looking at it? I don't know if she's a debt slave or not. Am I with somebody at the time? If I'm with somebody, why turn around and look at it? Why? Now, I'm not saying that I don't. I want you guys to be clear. I'm not saying that I don't. I just don't do the hungry stuff. I just don't do the hungry because I'm not. Now, men will hear this and be like, man, I would never pass that up. Yeah, you would if you knew it was going to tie you to the debt matrix. Yes, you would. Like I was in the system when I was in debt. I had young kids and I was in the system doing all that family court stuff, right? I did all that, right? But now that I know where I was at, to be in that place right now with this knowledge, that would be literally torture. That would be very difficult for me. Knowing if I wanted to be in the child's life, I couldn't I have to be in the same state as the mom. If you want to be in the child's life, like be in it for real, you have to live in the same state as the mom. You have to do that. One lady called me. One lady called me a jackass. Another one said I'm controlling. I'm just not trying to accept a bad deal, especially that the way the court system set up against me. Exact. But listen, Ulysses, they don't know that. Debt slaves do, listen, dating people, you guys are dating, okay? You guys are out there in the dating world. A person's personal credit report will tell you so much about the person you're dating. First, because you got to remember, when you guys go out on a date, it doesn't matter if all the shit you have is finance. It doesn't really matter. But you don't know that. If you're making payments on it, that means you don't own it. Okay, you guys like to impress each other with finance stuff. It's all it's all financed. You guys tell each other's finance right at the beginning of the date. It's all phony. Put it this way, okay? Put it this way. Once you understand, once you have this knowledge, right? You won't even have to go. I want you guys to understand this. If you go out, if you're dating, okay, and I want you to really understand this, you're not going to get that far to the point to where you have to ask to see the person's personal credit report. You won't get that far. And this is why. All you got to do is listen for are they making car payments? Do they think they're a homeowner with a mortgage? They say, hey, you ask them, are you a homeowner? If they say yes, you ask, do you have a mortgage? If they say yes, they're not. You don't have to, if they tell you if they say they have a mortgage, you don't have to see their personal credit report. If they're making car payments, you don't have to see their personal credit report. If they have student loan debt, you don't have to see their personal credit report. You don't have to see it. Because it won't be getting that far anyway. You're going to be emotionally disconnect as soon as you find out that they're in debt. So don't worry about that part. This is for the people. This is like what Ulysses pulling. That's called pulling down your mask in public. We don't do that. I don't do that. Ulysses already knew what was about to happen by asking that question. He's going to be a jackass, of course, because he's telling the truth. What's up, down south, Yella? What's going on? This is for the people in today's show is really for the people that are in relationships right now. They can't figure out why it's not going anywhere. Take a piece of paper, write down the word love, write a line down the middle under it, and write negative on one side, positive on the other, and list all the things and say which list is longer. But if you're creating this list, that means you already have problems. Because couples that are already in positive love, they know that they don't have to really create that list. They already know that they're in positive love. They already know, so there's no list to create. This is for the people that are confused. Why they're in love with somebody that fucks around on them. Why they're in love with somebody that puts their hands on them. Why are they in love with somebody that they don't understand finances and spends all the money and doesn't care about the bills of the house? Why do they love somebody like that? Those people that accept that, they don't know that they're in negative love because they don't know love is positive and negative, which also means that they don't know that there are people that actually don't do stuff like that. You guys see, the majority of people that date, they see it so much infidelity and fooling around and people not telling them stuff. They believe the majority of the world is like that, which it probably is, yeah, but it's not all. There are men and women that do not do that. There are men and women that enjoy having sex with just one person. Now, if you're wrapped up in the world of the perspective of now remember, the part of the world where people are fool around on each other, that's a perspective. People in that world, they think it's the whole world, but they don't know it's just their world. Because there are people, there's a part of the world, there's a perspective of the world where people don't do that, and they know not to do that because they know that would hurt the people that would hurt the person they love. That's called positive love. Any questions? I was talking to S&D family member today on a consultation call, and we were talking about, he had been following me for like 4 years. Doesn't really say anything. Doesn't really, and I know the majority of you like that, and that's okay. That's all right. As long as you guys follow me, as long as you guys are doing the things that I'm talking about, you're realizing the things I say come true. That's all that matters to me. Because the final goal is for you to own yourself and have 100% confidence in yourself and become anything you want to be. Did you know when you understand this on both aspects, do you know you can become a multimillionaire? Do you know that? Do you know that's a possibility? Because when you have a regular job, and for those of you that believe becoming a multimillionaire is impossible, that's a thought. Do you know you don't have to follow that thought? That's not true. There's people that become multimillionaires. Why not you? What I teach you here, that's what you can do. Once you understand capitalism is psychological, you understand the finance game and you understand your personal game. You won't be wasting money, because you know how much money is wasted in bad relationships. Just I'll show you, fooling. Like when you're in a relationship and you're fooling around, that costs money. Presents, hotel rooms, time, that costs money. So not only is the person with negative love in your life, not only are they hurting you emotionally, they're hurting you financially, because they got to spend money. They got work, taking time from, because remember, the person got to go to work to earn the money to spend. So no time with you means they're at work. What am I supposed to do? I got to work all this overtime because they're having an affair that they got to pay for. What's up, Omanike? They have an affair that they got to pay for. When you involve other human beings, that's expensive. Anyway, if not any question, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up then. That's why I just want to come online and just talk about this real quick, because when it hits me, I like it. Hold on for a second here. Oh, okay. Sorry, looking at my phone. All right. I'm gonna wrap it up here. There's nothing to debate. Either they show credit report or stay. Exactly. And like I was saying earlier, Omanike, it really won't even get that far to ask for a person's personal credit report, because if you know they're a debt slave already, you're not really going to even get that far to have to ask that question, right? And if you, as a person who owns themselves and debt free, if you're involved with a person, you're probably already going to know. You're still going to check. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to check to be sure, but you're already going to know what you're going to find on the credit report, which is probably nothing. If you're dating somebody and they don't mention mortgage payments, student loan payments, car payments, financing a new iPhone every single year, waiting in line to do whatever, right? 9 times out of 10, they're probably not going to be in debt. They're probably not going to be in debt. So, it's going to be rare. It is what it is, but it's better to peace is much better. Peace is way better. But anyway, all right, everybody. I guess I'm going to wrap it up here. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Damn, it is Monday. Holy crap. I've been forgetting the days of the week. That's another step. Before I go, that's another step. When you guys understand how it works, you're gonna trip when you realize that all the days of the week are all the same. They're really no different. Saturday is no different than Monday. The only reason why you think Saturday and Sunday are special and Monday through Friday are different than Saturday and Sunday is because you work 40 hours a week. Because you're in debt. Because you have to, because you're in debt. So you think those days are special. But what you don't know is this. They're not. They're just days of the week. And the biggest one, before I go, this is the biggest one. Oh, this is the biggest one right here, though. When you realize the clock, ooh-wee. Like when you're in it, let's put it this way. I'm gonna give you guys an example. When you're in debt, because I remember this hearing this every now and then. When you're in debt, you hear every now and then you'll hear a person say, "Did you know the clock is a man-made product or a man-made construct?" 12, 1, 2, 3, and then AM, blah, blah, blah. Now, when you hear that, when you're a debt slave, you kind of hear it, but you don't really know what that means. You're like, what do you mean time is you just don't know what to say. You don't even know how to respond to somebody that says that. I'm going to tell you what that means, okay? The reason why you don't know that the clock is a man-made construct is because you need it every single day of your life. When to go to work, when to go to lunch, when to take a break, when to get off, when to get in the traffic, what time the carpool lane open, what time does it close, what times the carpool lanes open, what time is that you guys are always looking at the clock because you have to. You're looking at the time on your phone. What time is it? You're looking at the time in your job. You're always looking at the clock. Do you know that's why you're looking at? That's why when you own yourself and you create your own business, guess what? You use it for what it is. It's a tool. Did you not know that the clock is a tool? I don't need to know what time it is unless I have an appointment to do something or to go somewhere. I have a dinner appointment or I have a appointment with a client. But if I don't have an appointment with a client, I don't care what time it is. I don't care what day it is. I didn't realize this at first. I'm kind of going somewhere with this. When I first got out of debt, I remember going through a phase of what I'm telling you right now, not knowing what time it was and not knowing what day it was. I was feeling like I was a bum or something. I don't know. It was a weird feeling. Like I was going through something. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I never know what time it is no more. I never know what day it is. And then I realized it's because I'm not part of the 40-hour work week program no more. That's why it doesn't matter to me anymore. It's bananas. I have no desire to date these days. What'd you say? They got to impress me by being free for stuff. Exactly. And that's what, and you know what's so crazy, Omanika? This is bananas, right? Now, men always try to impress women on dates, right? Especially the car right off the bat. Guys believe if they get a nice car, this is what they don't really understand, young guys especially. If they get a nice car, they can get a good looking woman. But what they don't really understand is that they got a woman that likes really nice that likes really nice cars, not them, right? And then if they come to a woman that understands that capitalism is psychological with a really nice car, if they're making payments make the driver irrelevant. Did you guys know that? Car payments make the driver of the car irrelevant. So this is what I strongly suggest. If this is your first time hearing this and you're making car payments, don't tell anybody you're making car payments and pay off the car. Pay off the car. Don't ever tell anybody that you're making car payments. Just pay off the car. Okay? All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to get on out of here. Again, you guys have a wonderful day. Okay. Until next time. All right. Later.